Okay, this is the Roswell bathroom. All this builder's grade tile on the floor is coming out, as well as builder's grade tile on the shower walls is coming out. You got double layer sheetrock. I've explained this on other videos I have. One layer sheetrock, second layer builder's grade tile, mud cap. That there's no mold and mildew down here is a bit surprising. Looks like there's some in the back, some up front here. So typically on a tub lip, they're supposed to set first layer sheetrock right on the lip. Then the tile goes over, hits the tub. But most builders come in with one layer sheetrock sitting on the tub. Another layer that they sandwich on here sits right down on the tub lip, and then the tile goes over that. So water will pool up under if the caulking isn't done right. Even if the caulking is done right, sometimes water will penetrate through, get up under, and saturate the second layer of sheetrock, which is the wrong way to do it, but builders do that all the time, which is why you get mold and mildew going on. Anyway, not doing anything with the tub. I'll be changing out the drain and the overflow cap. I'll be changing out to oil bronze. And I'll be changing out the fixture to an oil bronze as well. Other than that, this will be 14 by 14 porcelain. It will be straight, no pattern, going all the way up to the ceiling, and with the bronze on both sides, a bronze transition strip on both sides, so that we don't need bullnose on the outside. And again, taking this out too, this will be also the 14 by 14 porcelain. Kind of a brownish color, so it'll look nice. It'll be sanded bone grout, I believe, which will match well. So the process of taking these walls out, relatively easy. I've showed that on another video. You actually can get one of these if you don't have a sawzall. It takes a little longer. It's a keyhole saw, and you just cut along the edge of where the tile is at and the sheetrock. And once you cut along that edge, you can get a pry bar, crowbar, whatever, pull the walls out. Sometimes they come out easier in sections because this is quite heavy. So you just get a hammer and you knock along here, pull out one section at a time. Cut out the caulking at the bottom to make it easier to come out. This wall will be very heavy, so I'll cut that down in two pieces again, just hammering out all the tile down the middle and pulling out, one big piece at a time. That's the way it's supposed to go. Anyway, I'm getting ready to do that process right now. Okay, just a few minutes later, I've done a little bit of the tear out. I have a sawzall, otherwise known as a reciprocating saw. The sawzall has a very small blade on it, and what I do is cut a line all the way around, just as I told you, all the way around the perimeter, and all the way down. So there's no point in taking out all this sheetrock because it doesn't matter. It's just a lot of extra work if you do that. So this is the best way to do it. You hammer out a line down the center of this big wall, as I said, so that you can get hopefully this whole piece out in one fell swoop, and this whole piece out. If it's too heavy, obviously you can knock out with a hammer, go on there, get it up in quarters, which I usually do on this back wall. Sometimes I can get the whole thing out, or I'll just knock it in half and get them two out at a time. So this is what I was referring to, as builders do. You see this one layer of sheetrock back here, second layer on the top, and they literally put it right down on a tub lip, which is idiotic because you see all this rot that's going on here, and it degrades the sheetrock to the point where it's really soft and brittle and moldy, and it's ridiculous, but that's what these builders continue to do, which is why you have mold and mildew issues around your tub lip. And it will always be a problem as long as you have a builder's grade type setup like this, the way I described to you with the mud caps and everything. Almost always they set it right on top of the tub lip. Again, very stupid, but that's what builders do. Oh, by the way, on this side where the tub faucet is, Be extremely careful cutting through there with a sawzall. Obviously, you might have pipes. In this case, I'm 100% certain the pipes are coming up from the floor and feeding this faucet. However, pipes could run through the wall, you just never know. So usually this last area from about this height all the way down, you want to use that hand saw rather than the reciprocating saw. Same thing on the toilet end. You don't know where your supply is coming from. In this case, I know it's coming from the floor, so I'm not concerned about that there's going to be plumbing inside the wall, but there could be. You never know, so better safe than sorry. Another thing too, wear safety goggles when you're beating this up. This is ceramic tile, it's very, very sharp. Little pieces could fly up in your eye. So goggles and gloves. Goggles and gloves for sure, for sure. Okay, so I've already taken off the shower head. Most of you know how to do that. Shower fixture, valve, whatever you want to call it, has this little cap that's supposed to come off. Pretty easy. Okay. And then it has a screw in there that holds in the handle. Take that screw out. Okay, now you got two other screws. Most all valves are set up this way, where they got two screws holding the scutcheon plate on. And rather than use a screwdriver, I'm going to switch over to my drill, because these screws are generally about 3 inches long. And the scutcheon comes off that easy. Then you have your valve, and this is what eventually I'll be changing out with the new one. The tub spout, almost always they're screwed in there by virtue of there's a female end here. You have your 2.5, 3 inch pipe. Well, it's actually about 3 1/4, 3 3/4 pipe with a male fitting at the end. Okay, finished with this bathroom. This is not really 12 by 12, it's actually 13 by 13, but same old, same old. It's actually porcelain made to look like travertine. They did a pretty good job on it. Can't really tell the pattern too well. Each tile is a little different. We have a darker transition strip, the aluminum ones I like to use, both on this door, which is a bedroom, and the hallway, which is in here. So that's how that got transitioned from the carpet. Didn't do anything with the sink or vanity or anything like that. All it was is basically just rebuild the 3 walls of the shower, as you saw just prior to this. So as you saw, it was also on the floor, the same tile, basically 4 by 4 that was on the floor. Now it's a 13, obviously, and it was a 4 by 4 on the shower walls, which is now a 13 as well. This tile is okay. I tell people all the time to spend a little more on your tile so that when the tile guy sets it, he won't be, you know, having difficulties trying to get the spacing right. So maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I did a job where the customer only spent like 89 cents, something like that, 89 cents a square foot. It's not so much how much you spend, although usually something over $2 a square foot is going to get you a very good quality tile, meaning that every tile matches up to every other one. And the reason that's important is to get the grout line straight. I always do 1/8 inch spacing on my grout, and so what happens is I end up with a little better than 1/8 inch spacing, in some areas a little less than, like you see here, this is probably just right at an 1/8, and then here it almost looks like a 1/4 because these tiles don't match up. If you look here, we're almost even with the top and the bottom tile, but you look to the right and you got about almost an 1/8 of, let's see, you can look up close, maybe a 1/16, a little better than a 1/16 of an inch gap between that tile and that tile, and it happens everywhere. So the issue is trying to get all these grout lines to match up, and here's another one. It's not so profound up here, it's very, very minuscule, maybe a 32nd. So if you look down here, these two tile match up really well. But if you look up here, you get about a 32nd of an inch discrepancy between the two tile. So that 32nd becomes a 16th, and then a 16th becomes a quarter, and before you know it, the tiler is trying to really struggle with this stuff. So anyway, as I said, about 3 or 4 years ago, I had posted a video. People said that I should work with it, that I should take every tile out and match up every tile that matches each other. That's the solution? No. I don't have that solution. I can't fix tile, and I'm not going to take the time to take every tile out of the box. So in other words, if you spend $2, $2.50, $3 a square foot on your tile, you'll get a better home tile. There is rectified tile. Rectified tile is usually $2.50, $3.50 a square foot. I think they spent about $1.50, $1.60 on this tile. But anyway, I work with it when it's dropped in my lap, but I prefer to have a better quality tile. So getting back to what I did, I took out all the walls, put up new grain board, red guarded the entire area, took out the old shower fixture, put in a new one, new tub spout obviously, new shower head, put a little shelf in the corner the customer wanted, and didn't do anything to the tub. I think he's going to come back in and change the overflow and the drain out to match the decor and everything else. I did some caulking, which I normally don't do because on my last day my grout's still wet. But the reason that I speed dried the best I could here, but the reason I put this bottom caulking on here is because I know for a fact, having been here for 5 days, that the water tends to want to go that way and go up where the lip is at for the tub. So because the tub is a little cockeyed, you know, it's more down this area. So I know for a fact water will pool in this area all along here in the back. So where that matters is, as I said, with the lip, contractors will actually put in the tile over the lip, and so there your wallboard sits there getting saturated and gets destroyed and everything. I don't do that. Obviously the the wallboard sets up about that high right on top of the lip, and then my tile overlaps down in the tub. So the danger of water getting up under the tile is not the biggest issue, except that you're going to end up still with some disgusting water over time. So to preclude that, I just ran a bead of caulking all around the top there, and so that's that. And the same transition strip got put on the side. There's no bull nose for this tile, so just to match the decor, aluminum transition strip goes up and down on both sides. Another thing too, sometimes I don't center my tile, so in other words, this tub also angles down like this, so it's easier to set one full tile down here and work my way up that way. So I don't really want to mess with a half a tile down here and then a half a tile on the other end. It's just not worth the time and aggravation to do that. So my cut ends up down in the corner, and there'll be a shower curtain here eventually anyway. And so that's the reason I do that. I know I've been questioned about that. Why don't you center your tile? Sometimes I do. When I build showers, I try and center my tile. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes that's based on the customer's request on how they want it. I give them an option, and either they care or they don't care. So again, full tile right there, and then cut ends up at the end. Full tile, and then this is about 10 inches or something. That's about 10 inches. So symmetrically speaking, the outside is great. I'm just not too concerned about the back wall. And so that answers any questions. Don't ask me questions about that. Thank you, appreciate it. So that's it. Put the toilet back and doors back and everything, and I'm out of here. Have more work to do.